this is weird. I'm going to be flying blind. I have no headphones. But Simone, how are you going?
I'm good. How are you?
That's good. How are the headphones? All right?
I can hear out of one ear.
Okay. Cool.
I can hear, but I can't hear myself.
You can't hear yourself?
Microphone?
I can hear your microphone. I think we're all recording.
I can't hear your microphone.
No?
But I can hear your microphone.
I'm just actually going to literally take these off. I think it's probably better. But
Have I got a
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah? You got a track signal? Because I can't hear it.
yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, I can hear you in the room, which is probably better than the headphones at the moment. What a way to kick it
sounds
off.
like I can't hear my microphone, but...
Really?
You actually hear the microphone? Huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Well...
Welcome back, Simone.
Hey,
As you can see,
having me. Yeah.
we've stepped up our game a little bit.
Totes profesh.
Well, the environment's like 10 times better, but the
Yeah, look at all this space here.
the audio issues persist.
If I had friends, I mean...
Oh my goodness. You came back from US recently, right?
I did,
Yeah. How was that?
It was amazing.
You did what, like 4 weeks?
No, I was there for 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
And then I went to Singapore and did comedy there when I wasn't supposed to, but it was super fun also.
You weren't supposed to be doing comedy there?
No, well, I went to the States without my kids, so it was like, super fun, happy time.
Yeah.
And then the Singapore was a family trip. And
Right.
One of the guys, Sean Conway, you guys know him, right? Comedian. He was like, just do me a favor. Just go and do this one spot at the Merry Lion. Report back. Take photos. So I went and did a spot. And then one of the guys that were there said, would you mind doing a spot on a pro night over there? Which I did. And that was amazing.
Did you actually go to the Laugh Factory? Or was it the comedy store that you went to?
When I was in the States?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the comedy store a couple of times. We sat through, I don't know, 6 hours of comedy one night. And the worst part was, I think we left at about midnight. And then Dave Chappelle came at 2.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I did see Chris D'Elia. I saw Whitney Cummings. I saw Garfunkel and Oates.
Yeah, cool.
Fucking good. And it was amazing. That I can't even comprehend the fact that people paid $20 for tickets and they see all these comedians that are just...
And they're big comedians as well.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
You'd be paying, they come here, we'd be paying $100 to see one of them.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And it's just who's on now? Holy shit.
Yeah, when we went to the
best.
The Ice House, Johnny, and it was that entire lineup for $15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, that was real good times. And no one can seem to say D'Elia correctly.
D'Elia? Yeah.
Chris
D'Elia?
D'Elia.
We are Australian. D'Elia?
He did a tour here not long ago as well, from memory.
Yeah, we've had a few big ones.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan, but he didn't come here. I did see Chris Rock when he was over.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see Jerry Seinfeld, but that was actually the same night as my book launch a while back.
Right.
Who else has been here? Oh, there was a bit of a uproar. I've forgotten what his name is. He's the South African comedian who's now he's got a TV show in America. Dang it. Maybe it's good that I can't remember his name.
What, was he in a bit of hot water or what?
Yeah, he was in hot water because he said a joke about Indigenous Australians.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was he just did a joke. Actually, he did it 5 years ago, but then when he came to Australia, they dug up.
Remembered it.
Yeah, they dug it up and were like, we're going to need to boycott him.
Right.
Yeah, so...
What do you think of that? Do you think that's...
I think in comedy, it's really important that you don't punch down. So there's this rule of thumb, a girl can kind of bag out guys and it's punching up. It's all about punching up or punching down. And you shouldn't make fun of somebody who's a minority, essentially.
Right.
If you're a minority, that's fine.
So I can do it.
Yeah, you can make fun of white people. Yeah, for absolute 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird because I don't want to think like I have a free pass because there's no danger in the joke. Isn't that weird?
What?
Like if I was allowed, if someone said, look, you're ethnic, you have license to, this is your framework that you can operate within.
Yep.
I kind of don't like that.
Yeah.
Like I want to offend people. You know what I mean?
I try not to offend anyone, but there are, I'm sure the only person that would probably be upset is if my ex saw my whole set and he's like, hey, but I don't say names. I just talk about my ex,
Yeah.
but I do a hell of a lot of jokes and make fun of him.
How does he feel about the fact that half of your material is about him?
Fuck.
Was he alright with
it? He doesn't really know, for one. He's never seen it. But I did show him way back when, before I did the first Raw, actually, I tried this, the joke once where I basically call him a cunt. And I showed it to him and he laughed and said, oh, it's good. And then he was like, you should put videos on YouTube. Because he's like a marketing...
Right.
person, internet marketing, so he's like, you need to put these on YouTube, and I was like, no, because you don't want to put too much out there when you're brand new. I'm like, this is my only material, I've got 5 I had 5 minutes at that stage, but no, he was okay with it yet then, but I have expanded quite a bit on it, so there is more but I don't say his name. I say this bit where I'm like, I want to talk a bit more about my ex, but I feel like it would be disrespectful to use his real name, so I'm going to call him Amian. And then I'm like, but mainly because he's missing a big D. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, he
Nice.
hasn't heard that one, but that's not his name, so we're good. Yeah.
But with the whole punching up and down, that doesn't apply when it comes to comedy about politics and stuff.
Well,
because you look at the amount of
when you're talking about politics, though, when you're making fun of anyone in the government, they're always above you. They're the man, so you can always make fun of political parties, people in
I always
government.
like to know how, because I watched a Tenacious D video, and they were standing outside the White House playing this stupid song saying the government sucks, dressed in black white, and I just how people can get away with so much negative things towards politics through comedy.
Yeah, no, you absolutely can.
Whereas if anyone standing on the street was to say something like that, they'd be whisked away. But
no, you can
you've
always.
got an audience.
You can well, in Australia anyway, you can always say it.
I don't think you'd be whisked away.
Yeah, people make fun of politicians all the time through comics and always. It's one of the things that Australians do best. But I definitely feel that there is definitely, you should be careful what you say when you do comedy, because there have been times where, and recently, where some comedians have been approached off stage. They've been abused while on stage, because if you say the wrong thing, then you're still
you never know who's going to be in the crowd.
Yeah, and there are some people who are amazing comedians and they can say them and it's a joke and it's a joke. But there's some people who it comes across as this is what I believe, and what they say isn't funny. So it's just damn it, you're going to bag out someone, you better have a punchline.
Yeah,
it better be funny.
The payoff has to be really high.
Yeah,
if you're going to tread those waters, it has to have a big payoff, I think.
Yeah, which is part of the reason why I would never attack anyone in the crowd, because I'd be like, you will get taken down at one point.
Yeah.
So.
Whereas some people are I'm sure
some people build their whole routine on attacking people in the crowd.
I know.
Yeah.
Singling people
Jimmy Carr, he's
that.
one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an art form. It's an art form to pick someone out and then to riff on just that person.
Yeah.
It's a massive. That's totally commendable.
No, but most of the time it's not really riffing.
Yeah.
So
it's roasting. It's pretty much roasting.
Well, a lot of the time they have it pre-prepared. I actually got to be the single girl when Jimmy Carr came out. He did the thing, who in the audience is single? And I went, woo! But I was in the second row and he went, you. All right. And asked me questions. And of course, as soon as we started this bit, I've heard all his material before and I went, shit, I'm the single girl. And so, like, I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
As he was asking me things, I'm like, oh, no, I know your punchlines.
Yeah.
And so I just sat there and took it. And the funniest part was there was, like, after that, I looked down my row and John Pino, which is another comedian, was like, hey.
Yeah.
And then behind me, I heard a, ah! Like, and then I got a message from this girl, Gabriella Beasley, who does improv comedy, and they were all like here going, oh hey, because I just went, what's your name, Simone? Oh, like they're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then I got hammered. And so but for anyone watching, like, just who hadn't seen him perform much, they would have just been like, fuck, he was so quick. But he wasn't. They're all leading questions.
Well, yeah, there are templates.
Yeah.
It's kind of like join the dots.
Yeah.
So like,
and I mean, I do it in my comedy too. All of the crowd work that I do now, 100% I know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I ask a question that I'm expecting.
Or you already have the setup and the premise, but you look for someone in the crowd that fits that.
Yep.
Or you try your best, like, to select that person on the night.
Yeah.
And then
but there are people who do crowd work and are genuinely good at it.
Yeah.
But there are very few. And the stuff that is the absolute killer best stuff, it'll be tried several times.
Are you a fan of roasts?
Yes, I like them when they're done properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's that king of roasting. What's his name? Jeff someone. He did the
Jeff Goldblum.
No, so not Jeff Goldblum.
He's got the voice for it.
But basically,
That delivery,
they would grab like real high profile celebrities, sometimes even politicians, and roast the fuck out of them. Like Snoop Dogg, Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
The real big one.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he goes to like prisons and roasts them as well. But the idea is it's like a cathartic type thing to get you over your own insecurities, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Or it could end horribly, like you could get stabbed or something. But
I did. I've only ever done one roast, and I feel like it was almost like unfair because I was against this guy Ziggy, and it went horribly bad for him.
Yeah, right.
That is on YouTube actually.
Right.
Yeah. It's
because there's this other guy. Do you know Tony Hinchcliffe?
No.
He's another LA comedian. We saw him at the Ice House. Tony Hinchcliffe. Yeah, it was. He was after Brian Redband, I think, and before Bert Kreischer. But he has
that's a good lineup.
a show called Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Where it's a live podcast, and he's like on a panel with another comedian, and they would draw names from a hat. Everyone in the crowd puts their name in, and they get selected to do 1 minute of comedy on stage, and at the end it always ends but where they have to get roasted. It's like a ritual type thing. And you get all these people like from the entire spectrum, like transgender people, first time comedians, well seasoned comedians hop up. But it's so cool like seeing other comedians just go like, have at it, roast me, like just to have the balls to be on stage, to be that exposed, and then to agree to be roasted at the end. It's a wonderful like format show because it has this rhythm to it where it's like you do your minute right, and then here comes the roast.
Wait,
and they draw it again.
Them about their minute, or just
they roast them about their minute.
About their minute, okay.
Yeah, and you're like,
okay, do a minute routine, and then we're just gonna roast you for anything.
It's so
else.
funny, yeah. It's like
so it's going to be a minute of material and 30 minutes of us bagging you out.
Yeah, some of the stuff is hilarious. Like, did you write that on the way here? Like on the way up from the seat to the stage? Like, but sometimes it gets super personal. Ooh. And I think I don't know. It always
does.
It always, yeah. But I think feeling uncomfortable is kind of part of the comedy package. I think I like it anyway. I like being confronted like an art form. I like it when I feel a bit icky, like ugh. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Are you like the Jerry Seinfeld of?
I like knowing what I'm gonna say and going up there. I mean,
like Kramer.
He's not done stand up for quite some time.
I don't know. I kind of felt sorry for him when I saw that. Like it was horrible what he said, but a part of me was like, "What's wrong? I think there's something wrong." Because for a guy to do that, he's obviously unhappy. He even admitted like he was bitterly depressed about not having a career outside of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And when the guys heckled that he wasn't funny, he agreed, and that made him really angry. Apparently, he was like, "Actually, yeah, this material sucks."
Yeah.
And so he just like tried to be edgy, and it went too far. I think
Yeah.
once he pulled himself into that headspace, he couldn't get out of it, and it ended up
I
being
think-
Start sitting on stage, just digging.
Yeah.
Just digging
I
that
think
hole,
there's,
you know?
There's just a few things in the world that if you say, there's kind of no coming back from it. And it's
Yeah.
not, you don't get a license to like say racial slurs
yeah,
to people if you're on stage.
yeah,
And so like no matter what, there's a line where any one of us
Yeah.
said that and it's taped, it'll end your career. And that's just the way
yeah.
it is.
That's the kiss of death. That's it. You don't get a second chance after that.
No.
way. And still to this
And
day,
the fact that it's people who are that big, like someone like, you know, Roseanne, you know,
Yeah.
the same thing.
yeah,
There's certain things that there's just no coming back from.
yeah, but is it strange that I forgive him?
No, well, I watched, did you guys see him on Comedians
Yeah.
in Cars Getting Coffee?
Yeah.
And I felt the same. I'm like, you know, everybody does and says stupid
Yeah.
things at some point in their life.
I think my question is, at what point do you forgive that person? Like, at what point do you go, okay, look, you've been exiled basically for a decade.
Yeah.
You have no career.
Well,
When is it okay for them to like, hey, can I try
I wanna
something
know, like,
now?
when he
Like-
got back in this, like after that, how many people sort of went back and watched some Seinfeld, or you know, tried to like learn more, get back into who his character was, and it probably jumped him up. People realizing, oh wait, he's actually a good actor, he's a good person, and then, you know,
Well, it's the same as all the Me Too stuff that's going on. Where how long does it take for you to forgive someone? Can you ever really forgive someone? And I liked, there was something online which I think rang true for me anyway, and it was like, it's not up to the media to decide whether or not they're forgiven. If someone likes, say, Louis C.K. goes out and decides that he wants to do a new show and he puts it on, he gets somebody to, you know, to tour him, or he pays for it, whatever. It's whether or not people turn up to his show. If people are willing to pay, then those people have forgiven him and he can move on from there. That doesn't mean networks might not touch him, but I guess it's up to fans to decide.
Because there was that uproar with Louis, because he came out in New York and did a really small club show.
He's done a few more now,
And he's
too.
done a few more.
Yeah.
And the media hype was like, is he ready? Is it okay for him to go up? Is it too soon? I think that was literally a headline. Is it too soon? With
Yeah.
a picture of Louis C.K.
what did Louis do?
He jerked off in front of heaps of girls.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought you were talking about something you did during
And
the
it's
routine.
all very
Yeah.
it's all very like, I feel like if there's ever a borderline, like, you know, there's some things that you're always like, look, they raped somebody, that's one thing. What he did, so he asked for permission, but I don't think that the girls really thought, they didn't really think that he was going to do it, like what's a joke and what's not. And the other thing is that in the industry he was kind of above them, so it's kind of like
It's a power play.
you put it,
Yeah.
you're putting them in a predicament. And he said that, I think, when he tried to do his apology, which failed.
Yeah.
But you know, he I think that's the problem, is he essentially ended, I think, a couple of careers because that was it for them. And yeah, like there's more to it though. I think there was one who I think wanted to leave and he stood in front of the door. You know, so there's all of that kind of stuff that's like, and yes, there are worse things that you can do, but it's still, I guess, traumatic for some people.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. What's more disturbing is how rampant that is through the whole entertainment industry.
Yeah,
Remember when all these
absolutely.
people got outed? Matt Lauer with his sex dungeon in the office. Do you hear about that?
No.
He had a button behind his desk. Matt Lauer from NBC, the presenter.
Oh, okay.
And he had
Shut up.
he had
Some kind of like
he had a button that
like
would lock the
bondage
door.
Batman.
No, it would lock the door behind the person in his office.
Oh shit.
So if he like wanted to maybe try something, he would just hit the button and they couldn't leave. And he was doing this like to a lot of staff members, allegedly. And
We have like a
the hypocrisy.
trap door that opens up as well. And
If they say no, they go to the crocs. Yeah.
And he was reporting on sexual abuse like just not long before that, and then he's like one of the biggest culprits. I don't trust anyone. Pretty much.
Yeah. It's definitely it's very interesting to see what people do once they're in a position of power, and it's not just power. It's like anybody that is in the spotlight, and people are like, you're amazing, and it's like, okay, fuck me, like that's what it is.
And we were talking about Teddy Richardson, the famous celebrity photographer, where it came out that he was doing some pretty borderline sexual assaulty stuff in his photo shoots. But he's shot like all the greats, even Obama, everyone from Obama to Lindsay Lohan to Jared Leto.
Wow.
And he would get half naked with him half the time. But then what's weirder is if it was like purely consensual among them. Like they were like, yeah, we're into it. We're all into it.
Yeah.
Then what do you do?
Well, like half of Hollywood's probably a big orgy anyway.
Well, yeah, it is.
And the other half is just like, no.
There are people who are in relationships and stuff, so they're not everybody's not like that, but I from experience having been to LA, like obviously there's a lot of that.
Yet if you're
there's an awful lot of bands and actresses and actors,
absolutely, but it's weird if you're like Motley Crue writing a book about how many like girls you're fucking, like just openly railing a line of coke off their titties and shit, and people are like, but
it's all right if it's consensual.
It is, but like to really sell that lifestyle and to really
so people are like, I want that.
Well, not only that, but it seems more justified as a muso. I think, but you're right.
Even there's been things that have been coming out, like Bowie, for example. I think he slept with a 13 or 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And that was, I read that and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Anyone else, but nobody, like, I feel like that's just gone under the radar.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
That's one of the things that aren't talked about. It's like you pick and choose the ones.
Yeah, you cherry pick. It depends on if you like them or not.
Yeah.
That's weird.
There is a level of that for sure.
Yeah.
And it was like acceptable at the time. Oh, it's a long time ago. But fuck, Elvis Presley. He married Priscilla when she was 14.
Yeah.
That's all right then. It was a different time.
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Yeah, Malcolm X, he allegedly beat the fuck out of like a bunch of women.
Oh my God, same as John Lennon.
Yeah.
Apparently, like,
and these are all our like fucking heroes.
Yeah.
So either
John
really
McCartney came out and he did an interview. I think it might have been with Rolling Stone. You can look it up. But he said that he masturbated with John Lennon and a bunch of other guys.
John McCartney or Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Shit. Sorry.
No, that's cool.
And
dude,
so I read that and I was like, really? Can you just ruin anything else? What's with all these sexual deviants?
It's the Beatles, man. It's the 60s. Everyone's dropping acid. Everyone's fucking each other.
It was apparently in the dark and they were yelling out different women's names of girls that they like. One guy started and then they all started. And
when you're on the road for that long and you're stuck with just a group of people.
Yeah, and you have all that cash.
But you got your bunk. There's a private area, I guess.
You got your iPhone. You can jerk off in the toilet. Just let it out. What's wrong with people? I'm so like weirdly asexual when it comes to this stuff. Like none of it entices me. It just sounds like drama and trouble. Like if you do that shit, it's especially nowadays. It's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
Anyone can just say from 5 years ago, like, yeah, maybe I didn't like what he did, and then just say whatever, and you're fucked. I'm not saying that some of it isn't fucked, but it's just so trigger happy now. Like you can end anyone just by saying some shit. Johnny did touch me the other day though.
I shouldn't have laughed. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. But no, I'm not trying to be edgy, but it's interesting. It's interesting.
It is a different time.
It is, yeah.
You do, and it's good that people are being held accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about time, as well. but we just have to watch out, I think, that we don't trip over our own feet at the same time. You know what I mean? And start like...
Cherry picking?
Yeah, well, cherry picking and...
It should be a standard. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You know that Asia Argento?
Oh, from James Bond?
No.
Bond.
Anthony Bourdain's wife.
Oh.
And she came out with a lot of Me Too stuff with Rose McGowan. And it turns
Yeah.
out that she diddled a boy.
Yeah, he was 17. I saw that too.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, who do we trust?
And there's literally a picture of her in bed with him.
Yeah,
So
and
it
she-
was
yeah.
kind of like, she was like, that didn't happen. And then it's like, here's a selfie in bed with you. Holy shit.
This is what I mean though, like, I don't trust anyone. I believe in the movements, but I don't trust these people that place themselves as the face of the movement. Like, I don't trust
There was
any of them.
literally somebody who was raising money for it was something to do with pedophilia, and it turned out that he was a pedophile. And there was all this like child porn, and he was trying to set up a meeting to get a kid.
Yeah.
And so and he was like the face of like this whole big thing.
That's usually the case, yeah.
Ooh.
That's why, as much as the whole Me Too thing, when I saw like all those girls, those ladies wearing black, those celebrities, you know how
Yeah.
they all wore black.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why, but my intuition is telling me not to trust like any of them. I think to some degree, like, there's some complicit silence amongst them at the very least.
Yeah.
I think if it pays right, everyone will stay silent about this shit. That's what I mean. Everyone, you know what I mean? I just have no faith that everyone's closet is clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone has shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's got dirt,
in
man.
their back pocket somewhere.
Especially when you're that famous, you got that much money.
Yeah. For sure. And I feel like it's once yeah.
Murky waters.
Fuck, it's
Murky
really hard,
waters.
you know, when there's so much more to say, and I
No, that's cool,
be
yeah.
careful not to.
Let's not.
It's
Yeah,
touchy and dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
it is.
Well,
it
I
is,
I work in an industry where it's all mainly men.
Yeah.
So like I 100% can understand where
Comedy.
in comedy. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% can see where and that's not even, you know, people aren't trying to get me jobs. But yeah, it's interesting.
It is. Yeah.
It's good now. I've got all the guys know me. I love all of them.
Well, the amount of
Most of
shows.
Some of them. No, most of them.
The amount of shows that you're pumping out. You've got what, like 4 more
Shows.
to end the year. You've got a bunch in the suburbs, and then you've got one in December.
Oh yeah. So I'm taking December off. Actually, I've got December off. But I've got next weekend. I've got a Motherhood show, Surviving the Circus, and then we're doing the Motherhood's brand new show, Jamumji. And
That's good.
yeah, and other than that, actually, there's other shows like I said I was going to take this week off, and I did 2 more, sets, and I've already written up. You do in advance. Here's what I'm doing in the next month, and then that's at the time. Like, so much more gets added to that after I've finished.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm still doing more now. As soon as I finished it, it was not accurate. So I'm doing like a Belmont, something for the city of Belmont. They're doing a comedy thing.
Cool.
I'm going to I don't know, Geraldton and somewhere else. I don't know.
That's wicked, though. No, it's good to see you doing those shows.
Yeah, it's so great.
Are you afraid that if you stop, you'll lose momentum? Is that a thing with comedy? Like, it's hard to get back in if you've had a month off.
I've never done it before, so we'll
Whoa,
find
what a
out.
hard worker.
Yeah, I mean, since I started, I've been really constantly, constantly doing shows.
That's good. Yeah.
The only difference is the shows have gotten bigger. So instead of doing like an open mic, like I'm actually getting, paid for spots, which is a bit different. I did my first Silence of the Labia.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you guys know much about that show?
No.
Holy shit!
But you've told me about puppetry of the labia.
Oh yeah, so that's essentially the show's called Silence of the Labia, and it's essentially that.
Okay.
So there is nudity, and it's funny that people, even we had on the posters and on all the advertising strong nudity, and it wasn't until we got there that people were like, oh shit, there's actual nudity. And it's like, yeah, it's on the thing, but yeah, it was really good. My aim was, I've never done an hour show before where I'm the only one that speaks. I've got someone on stage with me, but she doesn't talk. She has her pants off, but she doesn't talk. And so it was in my head, I was just like, I don't want to forget anything. But there's lots of little 5-minute spots. There's like 5 minutes of Vagic. There's 5 minutes, of stand up. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of like crowd participation, and all I wanted was not to forget what I needed to say. And I didn't. And I came off and I was like, check, I've done that. And now I get to do it 6 times for Fringe here. I'm doing it 6 times for Adelaide Fringe, and I don't know when this is airing. I don't know if I can say it yet, but I will. And then so it's Surviving the Circus and Silence of the Labia got accepted into Perth International Comedy Festival.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So thank you. So that's going to be in May, and super
Killing
exciting.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked.
Yeah. So it's real cool. Next.
That's awesome. No, that's so cool. I always imagine what it'd be like just to be on your lonesome, and it's you,
Yeah.
and and you're everything.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, you're the comedian, you just rock up, you have a mic and your thoughts. I romanticize that. It's probably a fucking nightmare if I did it. But
anyone can do it. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
And also you need some jokes. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'd rock up with everything and then forget, oh wait, you need some material.
I'm here. Here's the microphone. Yeah.
I brought my own mic, but not the material.
Yeah. But I'm getting, like, it's funny how you think back to, I haven't quite been doing it for 2 years yet. So how far I've come is pretty crazy.
It is.
In 2 years. It's been a crazy ride. But like, I think like last night I rocked up to a show in Midland and they asked me to go on the lineup, and it was just like, can you do 10? And I was like, yep. And that would have been an issue for me a year ago. I wouldn't have had 10 solid minutes for a start. And then on top of that, to not be able to prepare, to not be able to, at least run through it a couple of times that day, or like, just before you did it, we were all sitting outside having a drink, eating food, and then I just went on stage. I could not have done that a year ago.
That's
so
crazy.
It's
You probably performed better. Do you think you performed better in that
Last
scenario?
night was a really good spot, actually. But personally, I think it's better if you run through it at least a couple of times that day.
Because, like, I think half of what fucks you up when you perform is that countdown till the performance. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I know
Whereas
what
if
you're
you're just like, hey, look, there's a spot in half an hour, just go up and just do whatever. You're probably more likely to get over the fear that way. Because you're kind of just like thrust on stage, right?
Yeah, it's more that I know I've done some like solid my solid stuff enough that it's there and I know what I'm going to say. So I was kind of cherry picked, and like last weekend, it was last weekend. I did the last 2 weekends I did 3 Motherhood shows. I did 2 spots at the gala for Side Splitter Comedy, and then I also emceed a show at the Vale. So having done all of that, and like for the Vale example, there's 2 lots of about 10-minute spots when I open and then at halftime. So in my head, when they're like, can you do a spot, I just reshuffled what I wanted to say from both of those sets, and I'm like, that's what I'll say, and then just
wicked.
do it from there.
So
but
I
I
couldn't
couldn't.
like the hardest part would be that first joke, sort of getting that first hurdle to judge what the crowd's responses are going to be.
Yeah.
Because I can just imagine, like, if you do something like your first joke, you get up there and open up the show, and the crowd's just like, Then I can just like see more panic, and then you're just like,
yeah, it's a spiral, a panic spiral.
Yeah, well, I have this thing where every time I get on stage, I say the same thing, and I can't stop it. It's automatic. I'm always pick up the mic, and then I'm like, "Hey guys, how you going?" That's always it.
Really?
Yeah.
What would mine would be? So anyway, I fucked him. Or something weird. That always works.
That's good.
That always works.
That is the first joke off the bat. No, good.
Or something just like start immediately awkwardly like. So the thing about Asians is, or something like that. Just get people like clenching up already at the very beginning, like.
Yeah. Got to give them some tension to let it go. No, lately because I've been talking about going overseas, like just little jokes. But my big thing is. Like when I got back, I realised motherhood is a lot like riding a bike. I can't be fucked doing either. That's my...
That's not true though, is it?
Pardon?
Is that true?
There's truth behind every joke.
Really?
I posted this thing online and I was like, it worries me that, somebody said to me, there's truth behind every joke, then got up on stage and did a joke about dropping a baby. But there genuinely is. So like I 100%, I love my kids, but it is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
So like, of course, being able to go over to the States and not, having them, I mean, it's amazing. Like you feel so free. Like I do what I want.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to stay out till 4 and, like it's just, it's not, and sleep in till 2 and that it's great. But you do, there's part of me that obviously still misses them. And then I come back and I'm like,
get home at 4 a.m. completely drunk. You got to call them to see if they're...
Yeah. But also I'm divorced. So I have a level of freedom anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Divorce, that's a blessing in disguise, I think, divorce.
Yes. Divorce is amazing. It's the best thing I ever did.
It's true. It's probably more thrilling than the actual marriage.
Yeah.
It's getting the process of getting divorced.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very freeing. I mean, it's only been since the divorce I've done probably the coolest shit I've done in my life. I mean, owning the shops has been great, and that was I feel like I got a lot of cool opportunities because I had the stores, but now I didn't start comedy till I left him, and I've got the radio show which I just found out won an award, and I wanted to slip that in.
Oh
there.
yeah, congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's like the best new show for the CBAA awards, which is really exciting. Congratulations everybody at Rainbow Connection and Noongar Radio.
That's wicked.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you.
You got a good work ethic, but I think speaking of kids, that's what love is, right? It's like you love them, but you kind of fucking hate them at the same time. But
Yes.
you're willing to put up with that because of the unconditional love.
Yeah,
I think that all love is you kind of fucking hate the person at the same time. No, that's true, right?
There's nothing hard. Like the thing is with parenting is it doesn't matter how tired you are or sick you are. You can have a migraine or a hangover. If they're crying and something's just gone wrong, you got to fix it. Yeah. So it's like it teaches you like I didn't know that I could function on no sleep. I can do so much more now than I couldn't before. Like if I was sick, I'm like, I'm not going to work, I'm sick. And now I'm like, fuck, I'm going to work. It's better than staying at home with my children. Yeah. Not better. Oh my God, it's easier. It is actually easier. It is 100% easier. And so like you just learn that like how much you're actually capable of.
Yeah, and you increase the capacity for your day as well.
Hell yes.
Do you know what I mean? In the weird way, when you don't have time, you will persist and make more time to do the things that you love, and then it raises awareness about the important things as well.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm really conscious of time now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if I have half an hour and that's the only time I have to work out, then I'm going to work out. Because if I don't do it then, I'm not going to do it. There's no other time to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like I've gotten used to being like, this is my one time to do this, so I'll do it. And I fill up all my time. Like
the value of time increases.
Yes.
So
and I'm more aware of the fact that I'm not going to live forever, and it's like
that whole death thing.
Yeah, it's
really?
like
you guys are gonna start. I'm living forever.
You vampire.
So it's like there's so many things that I've wanted to do, and then to a degree, when kids are really little, they do kind of stop you from doing that because you're 100% exhausted and it's hard. And then when they got a little bit older, I was like, oh wow, like, okay, I feel like I'm not dying every day, like, but there's all these things that I want to do, and it was like, fuck it, it's now or never. So what if I look dumb, or so what if I fail? I think being a parent was like, you're not that shit. Like, it's weird how when I was younger, and it's the same as like the way I think about myself and my body too, because like as girls we're always like, I hate myself, I want to fix this, and like you look at somebody with a big booty and you're like, fuck, she's got a great booty, I wish I had that booty. And then you see somebody who's like a size 4 and on a runway and they've got like not an ounce of fat, and you're like, oh fuck, I wish I looked like that. And you wish all these things, like, you see somebody with like hair down to their butt, oh my god, I want that. You see someone with a pixie cut, and like no matter what, you're never enough. And then I had kids and I was like, you know what, I think I'm just okay with how I am. Like, I'm not perfect, but I think I'm pretty lucky to be, to have what I do and have my health. And
it's probably the perspective that you gain when you create another life. You realize how futile and petty all this shit is about how you look and
I was going to say, you can walk down the street and say, look what I did.
Yeah.
Look what I can do.
I produced
that shit came out of my pussy.
Oh, is that how it works? I didn't,
like Dave Chappelle, he does that bit. You came out of my balls, man.
Yeah. How many times do you get to have a conversation with somebody that came out of you? Every day, actually. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I have a cat, so I'm on the way to
parenthood. It's enough.
Yeah.
Some cats can be full on.
Yeah, they can.
They
can be complete assholes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think about the connection that people are having with their pets nowadays that actually becomes so family bonding with an animal?
Yeah.
I think there's some countries where people are trying to make laws where they can marry their pets.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I've read that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a argument about marriage equality. First the gays will marry, and then everyone will be marrying their pets. Like, no, I don't think so.
I'd love to get married to a dog. Can you imagine the wedding reception?
Imagine a little bow tie, little veil. Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. You don't have any pets, do you?
No, I don't.
No? Okay.
I have had pets, though.
You've had... What have you had?
I have had... my favourite pets have been budgies. I had two budgies called Pookie and Hobie, and Pookie said about 32 words.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the baby before I had babies. And like he was like, Pookie, so cute, so clever, fluffy butt, chicken scratch. Like...
It's crazy what they pick up, those fucking birds, man. It's crazy.
One of my friends, Kim, he got really drunk once and he stayed over our house, and he slept on the couch in the living room. And when we came out in the morning, he's like, your bird's possessed. He didn't know that it like talked like that, and it just rattles off word after word. And he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of creepy at the same time.
Yeah, because it's a real scratchy little voice.
So apparently you can legally marry your dog in India.
Really?
No. Really?
Like, well, there's a whole thing, like, actually, there's a website, like, I don't know how legally bound it is, but there's a website where you can, like, get a marriage license with your pet.
For real?
Yeah, but apparently in India you can
in
marry...
international waters.
Well, anything in international waters, hell yeah.
Why would you... Why would you want to marry...
Yeah, I feel like it just opens up the whole bestiality thing, which I don't believe in.
Who would believe in it? What do you mean by believe in? Like, support?
Plenty of people. I read this thing. Oh no, we're treading these topics. Fuck. No, I read this thing that there's actual there's like animal prostitution essentially in some countries, and there's
that's fucking that's next level.
That are chained. Yeah, it's pretty awful. It was one of the animal rights type.
That is crazy.
I was like, oh no,
that
really?
So I just put up this page of like crazy laws. So you can marry a dog in India. You can identify as a dragon in Russia.
Wow,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. In South Africa, you can attach a flamethrower to your car.
Wow.
You can walk around naked anywhere in Spain.
Completely naked.
Yeah.
See, because there's a lot of tops off in Europe at beaches and stuff.
Right.
And apparently in the UK, you can legally drive a tank to work.
I think I've heard some of those
I
before.
don't know about the credibility of this website, but some of those laws I'm
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds hilarious.
If it's on the internet, it's definitely true.
Wow. So yeah, because there's that whole other thing like free the nipple. What do you guys think about that?
Free the nipple up, like, from censorship?
Well, for censorship and just in general, like if guys can take a top off in public, why can't a girl take a top off in public? You know, that whole...
I don't... I'm going to go the other way and say no one should take the top off in public.
No, that's because we went to the
Your
beach.
nipples offend me.
We went to the beach the other week, and it wasn't a topless beach or whatever, but there were a group of girls, you know, topless up on the top and just something open. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I obviously don't have a problem with this.
Yeah.
I'm like, but would they get in trouble because it's not a
Nude
topless beach? Like,
Probably.
Yeah.
If a cop was there, they'd probably get a warning, definitely.
Yeah, but really, should they? I don't...
It's like indecency laws. It'd be like exposure, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think...
Which is crazy when you can breastfeed. So as long as there's a baby that is attached or will be attached, that's okay.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
I think
I think we're in Australia and we don't have an ozone layer and everyone should be wearing a fucking t-shirt. But only for the sake of health, like in the shade, you know, I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's just a pile of shit that humans made up. That's
you can wear a see-through shirt.
The sad thing, which I hate to look at and think about, is yes, like women should be able to be topless when they want, but there are men and there are males around, and they have very bad, dirty minds that which make it hard. I assume would make it hard for women to feel comfortable.
Yeah, but I mean, you could say the same thing about girls wearing a short skirt. Like, you know, when guys, there's that whole like she was asking for it, and it's like, no, I don't think she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean more just like, you know, the prying eyes and knowing that there's...
Oh, well, that's
sort of
totally
things,
that's totally up to the girl. Because, I mean, no matter what... I mean, the sad thing is, it doesn't really matter what you're wearing. You could be wearing tracksuit pants and you'll still get harassed by a guy. It doesn't...
Well, just being a girl is enough for
and like,
some guys.
Part of me's like...
Look at that, that's a woman! Holy crap, it's a woman!
I'm like in my late 30s now, and like you would think that it would be done by now, but it's not. I still get it, and I've had it since I was, you know, like 14, 15. Yeah. And it's like, oh, wow, 20 years later, it's still happening. It's crazy.
Has there ever been a moment where you felt good?
About being...
let's say someone... it was kind of like a compliment almost.
Maybe when I was...
Like, let's say someone goes, hello. Is that okay?
No, well, for the most part, I like you. I feel like it's very rare that I'm ever like attracted to somebody.
Yeah.
I don't date around. I'm not that person. And so for me, I feel like and maybe no, you know what? I think I've always felt like this. I want to be on an even playing field with men, and regardless of like whatever I'm wearing. So if somebody talks to me like with respect, like I appreciate that a lot more than meeting someone there and then saying you've got a great ass, and I'm like, thanks. I can also hold a conversation. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's yeah. So personally, I don't really appreciate it. And even when you're in the States, in America, guys are very forward. So the last time I went, I was there with my friend who lives in LA, and I was there with another comedian, Mick. He went over as well. And so I had guys, and it was a very different experience than when I've been over with one of my girlfriends. And everywhere we went, it was like, hey girls, how you going? What you doing? Like, hey, I love your hair. Well, you want to come hang with me? And I'm just like, oh my God, it never stops. Like, yeah, they are, guys over there are super forward.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
And I said that like to my friend over there. I was like, man, it's just like, that guys just come from nowhere. He went to the bathroom, left me and my friend Jules at a table. He came back and there was a guy trying to chat us up. And it was
that quick, huh?
And we and we just finished having that conversation, and we were like, "Told you,
yeah,
you're a forward." Yeah,
because I'm thinking like, I think it's just the intent as well.
Yeah,
I think but
they're all players.
How do you say that how do you compliment a girl on her looks and her energy and her vibe without coming across as weird?
Don't say nice tits.
No. Yeah, obviously that. But what's one that I do?
Start a conversation like, "How's your night going?"
Yeah.
Like.
But then sometimes you just, when you see someone, I get the urge to just go, that girl's really beautiful, but you want to. It probably shouldn't even be said if you don't know the person. Probably, but I don't know. Like, how do you just give a quick compliment to a past and you feel really good about it, and it's genuine. This is what I mean.
Your hair, and then run off, just like
I get that a lot because I've got like,
you got pink
I like hair, or I like tattoos. But literally that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah,
like, thank you. The end. Like,
okay.
So you'd be better off starting a conversation about something else, like how funny is the, pick something on the wall. Did you see the thing over there? How cool is that? Talk to them like they're a person rather than just a
focus
thing.
on a.
Because I'm weird because when a pretty girl serves me, I have this stupid old-fashioned 50 years out of date thing in my head where I'm like, if I say,
well, hello sweetheart,
or hey, yeah, you're where you're like, hey, like, you're really beautiful.
Yeah.
But
hey, doll.
There's no like cool way to do it anymore because it always just sounds weird.
Yeah. If somebody just says to me, "Oh, you're really pretty," I'm like, "Thanks."
I think I said that to a girl once, the security guard and amplifier.
Sarah Connor.
And she smiled.
Yeah.
She smiled probably like
for the first time ever. Oh wait, no.
But we're also kind of taught, ingrained to do that.
Yeah.
Take a compliment, be polite.
Yeah.
Because you don't want creepy guys to harass you after.
And I'm not trying to say it's like a massive a struggle for guys to.
There's no guys that are like, "Fuck you." There's a few girls that'll be like, "You're pretty." Fuck you. Like, it'll be like, "Thank you," and that's.
Yeah. There's
like the whole thing, like with me and my partner, I talk about the whole chivalry isn't dead. Mm-hmm. It's just what was it? It's not believable or something anymore.
Yeah, what do you want from me?
Yeah, and I think that gets lost as well because I like to think that I try to be chivalrous, but I think that's almost like an outdated thing now where people don't believe that that's something that can be done. The whole sort of opening the door or walking on the side of the road where the cars are.
See, I think that's just a polite thing to do. Like, if I'm opening a door, I'll open it for other people, like, or like gates and like all of those things I do. And I feel like it's not up to a male. So here's the thing. The reason why that's even a thing is because doors used to be really fucking heavy. Girls were wearing corsets and, heels and shit.
Those iron doors.
And the guys would open the door for the lady because otherwise girls would be like, holy shit, and not be able to open it. We've gotten to a stage where we can open our own doors. But I feel like it's a polite thing to do as a human being. So if you're opening a door, you open it for other people.
There shouldn't be an agenda behind it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like, I opened a door, now you must fuck me. Like,
or that kind of like, because you're a girl, you don't have the strength to fucking open the door.
Yeah. And there's still polite things like, I've been out and somebody's been like, hey, do you want, my jacket? And I'll be like, no, then you'll be cold. But if they're like, oh, no, I'm not cold, I'm taking it off, I'm hot, and I'll be like, I will take that jacket. But then I've done that for people. I've got a spare jacket if you want a jacket. Like, obviously no guys are going to be like, yep, hand me over that size 8 jacket. But
I could get away with a size 8. But
yeah, there you go. If you're ever cold and we're together, feel
we can
free.
share jackets. Yeah.
And so, I think it's more about saying what you should do as a human, as a polite thing to do, rather than be like, I'm a man, so I should do this for a woman.
Holy shit! I think
Do you know what else
I've
they do?
offended heaps of women.
No, in the States, guys do this thing where when they open a car door, they will take your hand to help you out of the car.
Or that?
No,
The arm?
Like they'll pull you out of the car and like help you out of the car, and like my friend who lives over there did that, and it was funny because then when I went out with him and his like housemates and his friend, and they did it for me as well, and I was like, you guys are hilarious, because like I'm wearing flat shoes for one, like I don't need any help, and I was like, oh, you all do it, this is something that's ingrained in you, and I'm like, we don't do this in Australia, and you guys know I'm perfectly capable of getting out of a car. But like, I thought it was sweet that they automatically did that. And I'm like, you're not helping Mick out of the car? Like, what's going on here? Yeah. It was,
Screw Mick.
It's really, really weird.
Yeah.
So chivalry is dead.
I wouldn't say it's dead.
No, I feel like you should just be a good human being. So chivalry should be, for regardless of sex, just do good things for other human beings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you can make somebody's life better for 2 seconds, do that.
Yeah. And it should come naturally as well.
Yeah.
Without the need for reciprocation, I think you just do it.
Yeah. That's it.
Mm.
One thing, that ripple effect. Do one nice thing for somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody else does a nice thing for somebody.
One candle can light many candles.
Yes.
No, that's cool. That's cool, man. I want to hear more LA stories. I feel like that you're not telling us any. We barely remember half of ours.
When was it that you were
That I was over there, I think in August.
Yeah.
I love that I say it with a question mark. I was there in August. Yeah.
So their sort of summertime would have been warm.
It was so warm. It was amazing. So, well, we set up 4 spots to go when we went over there, and we were like, we're gonna do comedy every night, and then like we did so much other stuff that it was like that wasn't all we did. We went to like a Star Wars. We saw I can't remember what movie it was now. I think it was the first anyway, but instead of they had like an orchestra playing the music for the movie, so you're watching the movie, and it was at the Hollywood Bowl.
That would have been
sold
insane.
out. Yeah, you should have seen all of the like lightsabers and stuff. Like
nerds.
So good. It was amazing.
Really good. Yeah, the Hollywood Bowl as well.
Did like went to Lucky Strike. What else? I'm trying to think of all the shit that I did. God, I have to look on my Instagram.
Did you do Disneyland at all?
No, I didn't, but I've done that before. I did Disneyland for adults. We did fun stuff.
Did you have any partaking in any legal cannabis?
Oh, I've got stories about that. So, okay. While I was over there, yes, I did go with the guys to a place that's called it's called Mad something.
Yeah.
I really am going to have to look at my Instagram. But so basically they have these stores that are like Apple stores, but for weed.
Right, okay. Same display and presentation?
Yeah, so they've got how can I describe it? They've all got iPads. There's big tables with iPads on them, and then around like put inside the table there's like different kinds of pot, and then you can select, like people come over to you in their like outfits with iPads, and they're like, so what were you looking for today? What did you want it for? And you can be like one of the guys I was with was like, I don't know, and she's like, do you want to be social, or do you want something, to make you sleepy? And he's like, both. So anyway, we got he did get both, and edibles as well, and me and my friend, we were like, you should maybe just try like half of a jelly first, jelly edible, just to see how it's going to go.
I can already see where this is headed.
And he's like, yeah, I've already taken 2. Okay. Look, he took it like a champ and he was fine. But then he had, it started off because we were out with our friends and they all had the pens. They all have the vape pens. Yeah. And it's like cannabis oil. And the weird thing is, like, you have ones where you can go out and it doesn't affect you as in how much energy you've got.
Yeah.
So, like, people are just having a beer and then having a smoke and everyone's cool and dandy. And then, of course, then we'd get home and it'd be, like, quite early in the morning and he'd hit the other one and they'd be like, I'm done, I'm going to bed. Yeah. And so, like, seeing, like, the different strains are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh. The funny story I have...
Here we go.
Yeah. Is we did a spot at a place called Wake and Bake. Now, Wake and Bake doesn't exist anymore, but at the time, it's where you go and you buy all pot related things. You can buy cookies. You get there's cannabis like coffees. Yeah. And
you can get everything. You can get soda now, like the mints, like spray. You can spray it in your mouth.
Anything. Yeah. You can have it any way you want.
Yeah.
And so we got there and it was the first time that I'd seen Mick actually affected, like he was stoned. You could tell he was actually stoned. It was like it accumulated over the course of a week. And then we got there for the spot and he was like, oh shit, I need a coffee. And he went up to the woman and the woman looked stoned as fuck, by the way. Like she barely had eyes. And and he's gone, can I grab a coffee? And she goes, yeah. Did you want one of the pot coffees? And he's like, I just want a coffee. He couldn't even hear the pot part. Oh yeah, did you want one of the pot coffees? And she's like, yeah, one of the coffees. And she's like, okay, and just went and got a weed coffee.
Oh no!
So she gives it to him, and I'm there like, oh, this is hilarious. And then my friend Matt came in, and he was like, oh, how are you going? Oh, did you get one of the like pot coffees? And Mick's like, no. And I was like, yeah, you did. And he's like, he looks down at it. He's drank a bit and he's like, oh fuck. But he went up and he did the best set of all the sets we did over there because he was on their level. There's people having joints that, no shit, they'd be this fucking big, like these massive joints.
They look like cigars,
and they just pass them back and forth to their friends. And there's people having bongs, like full, like the MC of the night, like her name's Tama, and she came off, had a bong, got back on stage again. I'm like, I would not be fucking doing that. I was in the crowd and I'm inhaling all this shit and I thought, oh no, I'm getting stoned. And I wasn't even smoking it and I'm like, I've got to get up now and I can feel it. And I'm like, fuck. And so, like he did this amazing set where he'd like say a joke and then be like, and everyone else is on board, like they're all laughing too. There was like this mannequin in the audience and he goes, oh, it's so funny, I'm actually so stoned. So he was talking about how good their pot was and he was like, I was so stoned, I was actually talking to your mannequin. And he like, everyone's already laughing and he was like, but we're not going to work out, she's too chatty. It was just everything he said was so funny. Yeah, it was great.
Well, it sounds like it's become more high tech since we were there.
Well,
that's full on.
Yeah,
I'm going to try and find my post. Continue talking amongst yourselves.
Dumbo drops of canisters.
Yeah, but there's a weird zone that you can ascend to when you're high, where there's a little pocket where you're actually on fire. Like
you're on fire.
Like like you're sharp. You're still really witty. You have this weird energy spike, but like you said, it has to be the right strain.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to be a sativa, like really good sativa.
I think that's what a lot of people, especially in Australia, don't understand. Is when people in Australia think weed, they just think weed. They don't realise that there's certain strains and certain... It's almost been engineered for certain...
for certain ailments, and I think the typical lazy stoner is because a lot of people are smoking the wrong strain, and they
need something with some get up and go.
Exactly, yeah, totally.
Then when you got too much get up, you balance it out with something a bit mellower.
Yeah,
You got to keep adding and adding to get it right.
Yeah,
to get that perfect balance.
get that perfect balance. But no,
Here it is.
a good
Okay,
sativa you can have with a coffee.
it's called MedMen. Instead of like Mad Men,
oh, right.
it's like MedMen. That's the place. And here's there's a delightful photo of Mick and Matt standing out the front with their baggies.
Could you order it through the iPads?
So what you do is it's exactly like at an iStore. They can put your order through and then you just go up and pay and get your stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, like cool. I think all stores. Oh, what have you got?
Apple cider.
Are we supposed to be reviewing these?
Yeah. Well, I guess we could plug it. Yeah, we've got some alcohol that's been provided for us. I won't going to say by who because that's not part of it. But yes, we can actually. Our
Review.
condition of drinking the alcohol is to
review it. Well, what did I have before? I had John Boston Pale Ale. Tasted a lot like pale ale. I had mild hints of beer here, and a touch of beer on the other side.
On the other side,
yeah, definitely.
I did this John Boston Summer Ale, which it says it's dry hopped, and it was quite hopsy. It really did the spot, and this this Orchard Thieves apple cider really does taste like apple cider.
Nice, definitely what it says on the front.
The Cooper's Session Ale.
Cooper's Session's pretty good.
I'm actually familiar with that because it's served on tap at a few places, and it's like the cheap beer, but it's got like a good alcohol content. It's like that in between a cheap and a high beer.
Session Ale is the stuff that you want to like knock back 6 of on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And you can afford to knock back 6 on a Sunday. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't realise when I took this one out, there's actually Wild Moose Canadian whiskey with dry and lime.
Nice.
And I was like, I thought it was going to be another cider one because I don't like ciders.
Yeah.
Canadian whiskey, I'm like, yeah, it's
a pleasant surprise for you.
It's very nice.
That's good. That's good. Cider makes me have diarrhea sometimes. It's just something about the acidicness of some certain ciders. Yeah,
it's you know what? It could just be too much fruit for you. Yeah,
I think that's it. I get the same with raisins or sultanas. Mm-hmm. If I eat a big enough handful of that, I just immediately liquid power shits.
Oh, I am vegan, so here's the thing. The reason why your bod can't handle that is because it's so much like fiber. And your body's not used to it. But if you eat like that all the time, you don't have a problem. Like I've had friends be like, "Oh, you can't eat that. You'll be straight to the toilet." And I'm like, "Dude, my body is a fucking temple. Like it can process this. There's no change in
just
me.
Anything, yeah.
Like I can eat like baked beans and sultanas and like wash it down with fucking canola oil and." I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah. You got the iron stomach.
Yeah,
a lot of Asians have that as well because there's a lot of oil in Asian cooking.
And there's not. Yeah, I don't have a problem ever.
Yeah, I can tolerate the deep fried. I know a lot of people are sensitive to really fried, oily stuff.
Yeah, I'm fine with
like
that
they feel
too.
sick after that, but I can thrive on it. It's horrible.
I think the body can adapt to anything really.
Well, yeah. I think if you eat it long enough, you'll...
Most things. Yeah. Standing out in polluted air probably won't adapt the body in any good way, but...
What's crazy is the amount of people that are probably like allergic to things like grains or...
it's sensitive to them.
Not gluten as a whole, but gluten-y type foods.
Yeah, wheat. My one of my sons is allergic to wheat.
Yeah, but I think like some people, they go through their whole life being mildly allergic, but they
don't know.
They just normalize the fact that they kind of feel shitty.
Yeah, and even people who aren't allergic to something like dairy still can be sensitive to it.
Yeah,
like I found that amazing. Like I can't use a lot of like different products because I'll get breakout. I'm sensitive to them. Yeah, but I have no allergies, so I went to get allergy tested, and the girl was like, I've never seen anyone register so low. Like, because there's like a scale of how allergic you are, and apparently I was the least that she'd had in her career. And I was like, then why do I get like eczema and like why do I all of these like weird, like I can't use a bunch of different makeups. And she explained it like this. She was like, here, You can get 100 people in a room and everybody washes their hands with bleach. Nobody's allergic to the bleach, but everyone will have a different reaction. Your sensitivity can be different, but you're not allergic to it. And I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So, like, I can put on, if I put on, like, any stuff on my eyes that isn't, like, you know, hyperallergenic and all that stuff, then, like, my eyes will puff up, but I'm not allergic to it. I'm sensitive to it.
Right.
So there's no way that which actually sucks more, because if you're allergic, then they give you a list of ingredients you can't have and you can watch for it. But mine's just like,
yeah, you have a framework for things to avoid. But I also think that a healthy human body should be allergic to quite a lot of things. I think that it's more scary that we're normalizing all these chemicals. Do you know what I mean? Because like chronic illnesses like eczema and stuff, it's actually an oversensitivity to allergens. But in a weird way, it's a good barometer for when you know there's like a lot of pollution or the water's not right in a certain city.
Yeah.
So I think the human body is like the canary in the mine, in the coal mine. Like it's a good barometer when you have allergies. It's saying
something's wrong.
Yeah, like we shouldn't be putting chemicals on our faces and scented this and powdered this, and you actually don't need any. Like the human body doesn't need any of that shit.
Yeah.
And we've survived how long without putting all this stuff on?
Yeah. As like, when you spoke about makeup, I remembered the girl that was in NCIS that played Abby Shuto. Yeah. Didn't she a couple of years back had like a massive reaction to some makeup, some eyeshadow type thing, where she was actually in hospital and like lost.
Some people go blind. Yeah.
And it makes me realise that, you know, especially with girls putting on products like that, and there's so many makeup products.
There were people who, so there's these there's products that you can use as highlighters, or like they have glitters in the lipstick, and people were using them as eyeshadow and going blind because the glitter is not, it's not eye grade, but they were using it for it, and it literally goes in your eye and fucking cuts the shit out of it.
It's like putting glass in your eye or some shit.
That's exactly what it's like. And there were people who like lost their eyesight because of it, and it's like, holy shit, like what are we doing?
That's the thing, like, because, you know, I'll walk through and we'll get dragged into a makeup store, and just like the walls of all this stuff, and I just look at it and go, you know, how much sort of like knowledge has to go through, like how do you...
Luckily most of it's tested on animals, but no, you're absolutely right. And for the most part, unless a lot of people have severe reactions, there's they just get, you know, put through until I don't know if you guys have seen a lot about even vitamins and what their claims are, and some of them can be, you know, until people can put it on the market, a lot of stuff, until it's proven to not be useful or it is actually harmful. So unless somebody's being like, I'm going to test this and see if it's actually okay, then people can just keep buying it.
You can, as long as it's labeled a certain way, I think you can get away with a lot. And I think that's how a lot of these...
as long as they can put something on a shelf, and it's until someone complains or something happens.
Then they do a recall.
They can go back.
And then they do a recall and they go, "Whoops, sorry, we didn't know that would fuck you up." But and then they substitute it for another thing.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, how else do they test it? And especially you being animal testing, and... Yeah, well, obviously we're not allowed to do human testing.
Well,
so how do you test?
Yes, there are. There are human trials. Yeah,
there are trials now where basically they test things in a petri dish with cells rather than testing it directly on animals.
Yeah.
So they're saying that the animal testing is actually outdated, but it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's literally easier to just buy a bunch of like cheap animals, rats and bunnies, and put some stuff on it and be like, oh, that's no good, rather than getting like the top level scientists to come in and do like the
proper clinical trials.
The trials which are now the top science.
Yeah. The whole animal cruelty thing becomes like... Okay, so a mouse, a rat. Like, have you ever put mouse traps around your house? or mousetraps? Like,
No, but I know people who have.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's that whole thing. Like, is
I've killed cockroaches and mosquitoes.
I've killed several men.
And women.
but is
That's
killing
equality.
killing a like a mouse in cold blood, which is almost generally accepted. People buy mousetraps, they sell them at Bunnings. People put mousetraps out
Yeah.
and kill mice.
Mm-hmm.
Is that worse or better than using a mouse to test something out that could potentially...
If you talk to like the animal rights people, then they would say that you should set traps that capture them and you can take them somewhere and let them
Instead
back out
of snap their neck.
rather than snap their necks. But in saying that, what's better? Is it a quick death now or living in constant pain? So a lot of these animals, like the bunnies in particular, they put them in cages where their little heads are stuck out. They don't get to move. They're just stuck there. They paint cosmetics on them.
In their eyeballs and everything.
Yeah, to wait, literally put shit in their eyes and in their mouth and see if they have a reaction. And a lot of the time they do. And then they don't get any anesthetic. They don't get anything. They just are stuck there. And that's the same thing as the cage egg, the idea of with, the chickens. It's like, what quality of life do they have?
Exactly.
So it's I think it's cruel to do that to them personally.
I'm in no way advocating animal cruelty. I'm totally against it.
You know how progressive New Zealand is, and in the UK they have banned all products that test on animals. You can't go into a store and be like, I want this. It won't have been tested on animals. So there are companies who have started other companies to test on animals, and then it siphons through. So someone like Lush, I think, is one of them, that it's actually owned by somebody like Estee Lauder. I can't remember. You have to look that up. But their parent companies will still do that, but they don't. So they can
they can say that they're not testing on animals, but higher up.
Yeah. Because legally, the weird thing is, there's countries, like EU, and there's New Zealand, who we're not there yet, by the way, but they legally can't sell products that were tested on animals. In China, legally, you can't buy a product unless it's been tested on animals. Why? Because otherwise it hasn't been tested. So that's their...
Yeah.
So it's
bizarre.
Like the complete opposite. So if you want to know if there's products that test on animals, look if they sell them in China. If they're selling them in China, they do still.
Then they do,
I reckon they just go to human testing, take them down to the prisons, and just line up all the...
Yeah, just rub makeup in their eyes.
Oh boy, that's some cruel and unusual punishment. Like, I've been beaten up for being I'm in jail for being beating up somebody because I'm homophobic, and be like, shut up and put your makeup on. Just a bit of lipstick in your eyes.
Don't blink, keep your eyes open. Yeah. I think all that shit's just corrupt as hell, to be honest.
It goes hand in hand to all of the other stuff that we were talking about before.
All industries
all about
as well.
Money and power.
Exactly. And
and we have neither of those, so that's how you know that we're all on the level.
Yeah. It even extends to things like pet food.
Yes.
Which is a crazy left turn, but it's still really relevant.
What it's made of?
There's a company called Hills.
Mm-hmm.
HILLS. And they make a lot of the top kind of premium cat and dog food. And I noticed that everywhere you go, veterinarians, animal shelters will recommend Hills.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the first red flag. So when I went to adopt a cat, there was a 2-week free vet consultation period, but they would not see you if you did not feed the cat Hills.
Wow. What?
And so I was like, hang on.
Cahoots with each other. Right?
Why are you pumping this shit? Like, why are you essentially demanding that people that buy cats or dogs from this shelter eat this one brand of food.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the ingredients, and it was like crap. Because, you know, like...
Made with 100% cat.
Felines are 100% obligate carnivores, right? They only need meat.
Yeah.
And you look at the ingredient list on Hills, it's like carbohydrates, grains, oats, rice, barley, peas, and a little bit of meat protein. Like,
wow.
it's crazy. And then I looked further up the money trail. I found out that Hills is owned by Colgate, a toothpaste company. Right? And basically what Colgate's framework is like the dental industry, where they push certain toothpaste into the actual dental practices to say, look, you got to use this brand.
Yeah.
They're doing the same shit with pet food.
Yeah.
You cannot buy this cat unless you feed it this type of food. Like, it's how they kind of get into the medical industry and provide kickbacks.
Yeah.
That's how they make their money, and they stay at the top of the corporate chain, is that they get the medical industry to push the same shit. And it happens everywhere. Every industry has the same shit. Certain doctors will get kickbacks for certain drugs that have barely been tested.
That's better here than it is in the States. In the States, they advertise drugs on the television. Ask your doctor for...
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yep.
Holy shit.
And they have all the side effects at the very end.
Doctors are the best drug dealers, aren't they?
Yeah. And like sometimes it's like may cause, you know, bleeding from your anus, rectal failure. And you're like, what?
May cause sudden death.
Like, like why would you even? No.
I know, but it's bizarre. Like, you think, okay, surely something as simple as cat food that you buy from Woolworths, there can't be any corruption there. It turns out it's fucking rampant.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's if we're going back down the Woolworth path like we did with Ben, is what shits me is all these Woolworths products that are coming out, where Woolworths is now essentially making their own version of regular products that you buy.
Oh, like Macro, that brand?
No,
that one too, the organic brand, yeah.
Woolworths brand.
Yeah, like Woolies,
okay,
Woolies brand,
Woolies brand,
everything.
Which is essentially the exact same product as, like,
but cheaper.
a Sara Lee cheesecake. You buy Woolworths cheesecake for cheaper, which is the exact same thing. And it's just trying to get people to driving into the whole Woolworths brand.
Well, it's undercutting. They're trying to just undercut all the companies by pushing out their own stuff. But
which is probably not the same as dealing drugs through pharmaceutical dentists. But
you know what?
Yeah.
It's all one and the same. But yeah.
who are they? They, man, they. But basically, it's crazy. And apparently...
I'm drinking my wrong drink.
Apparently, that is a common tactic, even used in every industry, even video games. Once a small, startup, genuinely good company gets too big and popular, they get bought out by this big giant.
Big time.
And then you'll notice the filler goes up in the food. They're putting more stuff in there. You know, there's ash in cat food. Read a cat food can. There's ash in it.
What
Like,
the fuck?
But that becomes that, like, as you're saying, you know, when a smaller company starts up and gets bought out by a bigger company. The same thing happens with petrol stations. You know, you don't no longer see like small independent fuel stations. It's all bought out by Caltex or BP and Shell.
Yeah.
And you look at the one side of it where if you're one of those people that have a small store that you're trying to make away, but then you get bought out by a company, that sounds shit. But if you work for Caltex or you work for BP, it's a good thing. And I think it becomes a perspective type.
Yeah. It's survival in a way for that business sometimes, that sometimes being bought out is the only thing that will save them. And it's sad. Because most of them are promised, like, hey, we'll keep the same recipe.
Yeah.
And they don't.
But what actually matters? Speaking of which, I sold Mame.
That's right. No, good segue because, speaking of retail.
Yeah. But, you know, for me, it's definitely a good thing because you want to do something else. So maybe those people are like, you know, I'm done with this, and you need somebody who can afford to buy it out and move the fuck on.
For people that don't know Mame, Did you want to explain what that
Oh,
was?
sure.
Yeah.
So I own or owned, depending on when you're listening to this, I started Mame Clothing, which is a gothic clothing shop, and it used to be on this street that we're on now.
Two doors.
Two doors down, actually.
We are actually in between right now where Mame Clothing used to be and Burlesque Baby was before we moved.
Crazy.
And so I that was 14 years ago, and that was my first ever business, like little goth girl. And yeah, I've just sold it to the guys who do Club Freak, which is amazing. And now I'm closing Burlesque Baby in the city as well, so I'm going only online, and that's going to be great because I can do more comedy things without being tied to anything anymore. Tied to a lease.
Mame became just an online.
Yeah, it did. I think it was maybe 4 years ago.
It just became like an online store.
Yeah, just online. Yeah. And people could still pick stuff up from Burlesque Baby though. So that was a whole thing, people could still essentially try it on. And when we initially closed Mame, we just moved it all into Burlesque Baby. So people were like, there's no more Mame. Oh, we'll just go to Burlesque Baby and they've got all of their stuff. So it was not that big a jump. But then when we moved Burlesque Baby at the end of last year, it was a bigger deal because all of a sudden it was like, oh, the Mame stuff isn't here anymore. Because we had to make I had to make a judgment call of what was going to go into the new store, and it just had to be like I went from 130 square meters to 38 square meters. So it was like, okay, we just have to do this now. And which was, I think, a hard adjustment for a lot of people, but this is going to be a harder adjustment. I've had people literally going to cry in the store because I've told them that we're closing. It's really, it's really sad. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, there's somewhere to go. It sounds odd, but where you like that style, and like there's like-minded people, and they can come in and be like, I've been thinking about dyeing my hair, what would I do? Hey, did you see this new product that Lime Crime brought out? Like it's a whole conversation.
It's a community.
It's a community. So it's part of me is like a bit that part of my life is over, but the rest of me is like, oh, thank God. Because I've been, it's a overhead that I've had, and I've been tied to a lease for so long, and now I don't have to have that, and I get to go and do out of town gigs without having to think, fuck, who's going to run the shop and what happens if something goes wrong, and it's just like my life's going to be a lot simpler.
It becomes that whole perspective thing again.
Yeah.
Where, customers like, oh, no, it's closing. What do we do? And you're just like, fuck it, I can kick my heels.
Yeah. And I'm like, I love you all and I appreciate you all. And I, I'll miss a lot of people and their faces. But you know what? Just come and see one of my shows. Yeah.
Well, 2 doors close and 2 more will open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you have to end certain chapters, I think.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's completely going away. You're just shifting online.
Yeah.
Which is where all retailers headed anyway. So you're probably you're an early adopter of the
I'm not that early. Online is huge. And the funny thing was I started Mame just online. Yeah. And then I opened the store. Yeah. And then Burlesque Baby opened. But I've always had online stores from the start. So it's not a huge adjustment for me. It just means I don't have to physically be in a shop 5 days a week.
Exactly. Yeah. And worry about if you're sick and who's going to close the shop.
Yeah, I was never sick for like, I think there was 2 years where I had 1 sick day. It wasn't that I wasn't sick. It was just that I was always there because there's not... It's hard to get someone in at the last minute. And when you run your own business, it's like... It's weighing up the cost of getting like somebody in casual for a day and being like, can you get through this? Yeah, you can get through this just to go in. Yeah. So when you're saying about my work ethic, I'm like... That's from being a mum and a business owner for so long. Yeah. I'll survive anything. And I've done that. I've done gigs when I've had like a fever. Like I've been properly sick and I've like gotten out of bed just sweating. It's been like a motherhood gig and I've gotten there and I've hardly had a voice and you just get up and do it anyway.
Simone's the type of gal that when you set a date. We're there to do something that you always show up. I think.
Yes.
You're a shower.
I am.
I am a hider.
Yeah.
I'm bad. I'm really unreliable. It's something I'm trying to change. It's just I'm so introverted that at the drop of the hat, I could just be like,
Good cider, you're right.
the cider.
It's killing me.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of any excuse to not be there, I'll take it. I'm trying to not be like that. But it's taken a while. I think it's gross because people feel like they can't rely on you. You don't like that feeling.
Can't be flaky. Yeah. No, I'm definitely. I'm reluctant to say yes because if I say yes, I have to do it. Oh my god, I've lost my voice.
It's that cider. That's wicked though. Shall we plug any dates while you're having a coughing fit?
A pot coffee fit.
I think you've got like 3 or 4 more
Shows.
coming up. Yeah. I will read while you die.
Yeah, go ahead. Do it for me.
What have we got? Holy shit! What's the date? 10th. What is this? The Kramer Hotel on the 16th of November. You've got
it's South Perth, isn't it? Canning.
I think so.
It's at the Como on Canning Highway.
Yes.
Amazing.
I still don't have a voice, but I'll try.
17th of November, the night after, another Motherhood gig at Rigby's Bar. In
Yeah,
Perth.
that's our 21st show.
Holy shit. Another Motherhood about a week later, Jumanji.
That is our brand new show, and it's the first time that we are doing it.
Wicked. And that's 7th Ave in Midland.
Yep.
Still haven't been to these places. I remember getting robbed in Midland once. Some person stole my bag.
And your soul. Yeah.
And my soul as well, yeah. 30th of November, last Friday. Laughs. Geraldton.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And then I'm in Calbarry, I think.
Calbarry in
that'd be
December.
nice.
Is that the 1st of December?
Yes, that's the first. And then my next gigs are all lining up in January. So that's when the crazy fringe shit starts. Actually, I'm doing a gig at Yagan as well. On
Do you want to come over after and do a quick podcast?
Sure.
We'll add it to your massive itinerary.
Sign me up. It's for Galentine's Day. So you know how they do that on Parks and Rec? They're doing like an all-women lineup.
Yeah.
For Fringe as part of... it's called, the Laugh Resort. And they're actually going to be in that building across the road. Yeah. I think it's every Wednesday, the one Wednesday of every month. I don't know if it's the first or the last.
Oh, wicked.
And they're doing a bunch of shows at Fringe. And I'll be doing that one as well as the Motherhood shows and Silence of the Labia.
I cannot believe Fringe season is nearly upon us.
I can't wait. Isn't it the best?
It's the best.
Oh my God, we talked about this. I was with you guys for the last Fringe. And let's go do things.
Yeah.
Let's do things, yeah. And did I flake? I think I did. I'm sorry.
It's understandable. As long as I'm here, it's all that matters.
That's right. I can sit on my ledge and watch Fringe.
Yeah, just like you watched Wham the other week from the ledge.
I'll set up my own little thing on the ledge.
We have to see...
Man on the ledge.
We have to see Simone's show.
Which one?
I know, there's so many to choose from.
Do you want to see the vagina one?
I'll see... Well, I'll probably wait till Fringe season.
Yeah.
I think that... I just want to see you and your power half hour or whatever you do.
Power hour.
An hour set.
It is a fun. Yeah, it's a fun show. It's not stand up. I think I do maybe 5 to 7 minutes of stand up in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's all it's I can't explain it because it'll give too much away. But it's like kind of a quiz show.
Okay.
There's a lot of audience participation.
Nice.
And there 100% is actual vagina.
I still think we should take the show on the road, Johnny. We should just do this, but with...
we'll just open up the door.
Oh, yeah. And
we'll put the microphones on the ledge and we'll be part of it.
All part of it.
Yeah, we'll just set up a PA to blast out onto the street. And that's it. That's a performance.
Do reviews of all the shows.
We could. But what we'd really like is just to have... I think I've always fantasized about the idea of, like, before someone has a set or after... They just do a quick 15 half hour here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
Just drop
get
by.
people, they would be so high because most of the time, not because they're all like every comedian smokes pot, but we did say that all the comedians smoke pot. But you know, when you get off stage, particularly if it's a really good gig or like a big gig, you get like super.
There's a buzz
high.
And then you're ready for anything. You know, like when you come off stage, and you're still riding that high, you feel like you're up for anything.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good.
Except if you're in a band and you're just dreading you have to pack up your stuff and carry it all out.
Yeah.
Nah, I reckon you'd still be on a high.
Yeah, for real. Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
As
It's always a pleasure having you.
You too.
And it's always fun as hell when you come on. So have fun. All the best. Take care.
Thank you.
Say hi to the children.
I will.
Hopefully they're not... do they get pissed at you when you come home late? Or do they
No,
really
they
care?
don't really notice.
They're probably like hoping you stay away longer, to be honest.
I just make use of the time we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Time is precious. Feel the love. Johnny?
Yes, missionctrl.com.au.
You're going away next week, aren't you?
Am I?
Aren't you going to Melbourne?
Possibly.
Possibly.
That's up in the air.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Not somewhere. I just want to go somewhere. I'll just go anywhere. Fuck it. I'll go down the road.
Yeah.
Message him. Tell him where he should go. Not
Totally.
now.
Amazing. Thank you, Simone.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening, guys.